Brilliant Phil. Usually each new company occupies a new niche, or wins it from someone, providing goods or services better or cheaper. Both options are associated with Nick. The company was founded in 1964 by student Phil Knight. He was a middle-distance runner in the University of Oregon team, and his coach Bill Bowerman. In those years, athletes had almost no choice in sports shoes. Adidas was quite expensive, $30, was of high quality, and ordinary American sneakers cost $5, but their legs hurt, especially after running. If professional athletes could afford Adidas, the situation was sad for amateurs. To correct this situation, Phil Knight came up with a brilliant scheme to order sneakers in Asian countries and sell them on the American market. While receiving an MBA economic education at Stanford in the 60s, Knight took lessons in Frank Schellenberger's class. The task at one of the seminars was a business development strategy for a small private firm, including a marketing plan. According to Nike legend, it was at this marketing seminar that Knight came up with the concept of the company. At first, the company was called Blue Ribbon Sports, and did not officially exist. In 1963, Phil Knight went to Japan. At that time the labor there was cheap, and signed a contract on behalf of Blue Ribbon Sports with Onitsuka to supply sneakers to the United States. At first, the sneakers were sold literally from hand, or rather from Knight's minibus van. He just stopped on the street and started trading. He was 26 years old, and liked his business. Soon a third person, the talented manager Jeff Johnson, responsible for sales, joined the production. He was also an athlete and perfectly understood what kind of approach to people from the sports world was needed. Johnson turned out to be a good and enthusiastic marketer. He compiled a database of eminent professional athletes, and talked to everyone in person. During the conversation, Jeff asked what shoes they use for training and performances, was interested in the advantages and disadvantages of shoes, invited athletes to try on sports shoes. Then an unknown company whose office was Phil's garage. In 1965, Bowerman and Knight changed the name of their company, naming it after the Greek goddess of victory Nika. The new name of the company, Nike, according to legend, was invented by Jeff Johnson, who dreamed the winged goddess of victory Nick. Sales began to grow, and slowly the business began to grow from a simple resale of other people's sneakers into the production of their own under the Nike brand. In 1971, Carolyn Davidson, a student at the University of Portland, came up with the Nike logo in the common people snot. She did it for ridiculous money, at the present time $30. However, later, when the company grew, Phil Knight gave her a statuette of the Nike logo with diamonds, and a number of shares of the company, which honors him. This logo is still used by the company's brand, and is called swoosh, which means flying with a whistle. It depicts the wing of the goddess Nikki, which Johnson dreamed at the dawn of his career. In 1975, the famous Nike wafer sole was created. During breakfast, as always immersed in thoughts of work, Bill Bowerman looked at his wife's waffle maker, and at that moment, he came up with an association. If you make the sole corrugated, it will improve the push, and, at the same time, make the shoes lighter in weight. Soon after, sneakers with corrugated, or, as it was also called, waffle soles became the best-selling model in America, and by the end of the 70s, Nike has conquered half of the sporting goods market. Frank Rudy, the inventor of the famous Nike Air cushion, was an aviation scientist from NASA. Putting a cylinder of polyurethane film on the table, he offered the developers and management shortization for shoes that will serve forever, to which he was refused. He appealed to competitors, and was also refused. Then he returned to Nike again with his idea, to which the management still agreed. As it later turned out, not in vain. The invention of the air depreciation system was a revolution in the history of the brand. In 1979, the Nike Tailwind model appeared in stores, made using gas-inflated polyurethane. At the same time, new talented designers appear in the company who are working on the appearance of shoes. On December 31, 1981, Blue Ribbon Sports was officially renamed Nike. The total number of employees of the enterprise was 2,700 people. 58 athletes who competed in Nike equipment won 65 Olympic medals at the Los Angeles Games in 1984, and a year later the company signed a contract with basketball player Michael Jordan, which is still valid today. In Air Jordan sneakers designed specifically for him, it was forbidden to enter the court. Their black and red colors seemed too flashy. Knight, as an experienced advertiser, provoked a scandal. Michael went out to play in these shoes. for which he paid a fine of $1,000 every time. Everyone wondered how this epic would end. Nike attracted buyers, and turnover reached $4 billion a year. The legendary hovercraft sole became a kind of Nike business card, but its mechanism was hidden. To satisfy the curiosity of customers, in 1987 the company's management made a marketing move. It released a collection of sneakers, with an enlarged visible, or camera, shifted to the edges of the sole. Nike Air Max sneakers were sold out with incredible success.